Hi, everyone. Dave Colasera here with HomesighT Inspection Services. We have Shar Borg here. You prefer Lashar or Shar?
Shar.
Why is that?
Well, think about it. So my name is actually LaCharle, and it's a lot of letters, and people look at it, and if they see it on a sign, they're like, is it LaCharlie? Is it LaCharelle? Is it LaCharle? I'm just going to call fill in the blank because their name is easier to say. So when
Sure.
I got into real estate, I just shortened it. My family always called me Shar. And
Why
so
not?
I just, you're my clients, you're my family. So everybody calls me Shar now.
Good, good. Okay, Shar. And how long have you been doing real estate?
So it'll be 15 years in January.
15 years. And I want to thank you for coming out. You're actually our first guest. This is a first of many we're going to be doing. We actually want to interview agents. We want to interview affiliates such as electricians and plumbers and even our inspectors to give a more, a platform to introduce who you are.
Sure.
And HomesighT, we believe in supporting our agents. So this is basically all about, it's all about you.
Yeah.
Sharing everything about you. Now, I know you said the number third person in First Weber?
So our team has been consistently ranked in the top 5, and most recently we were ranked 3rd in the company.
That's
so,
awesome.
yes,
For 15 years. How long have you been doing that?
Well, I've been in real estate for 15 years. I
Right.
started out at a different company. I've been with First Weber since 2011.
Okay.
And came there with the goal. I remember my first year at First Weber, my goal was to sell $10 million of real estate. And that year, I actually sold $12 million of real estate. And each year, I just kind of set a goal and, try to go a little bit higher. And this year, we are having a record year, I think, like so many agents.
I admire you, and I'm going to tell you why. And when I do a lot of presentations, or at least I used to before COVID, live presentations, and I always use you as an example.
Really?
I do.
Uh-oh.
Did you know that?
No, I did
No.
not know that.
And I always admire the fact that you created a niche for yourself. Okay. And I actually have to do a presentation on how to get 10 more referrals guaranteed per month. And there's a list of 10 things you have to do. And one of the things we talk about is creating a niche. Okay. So for instance, if you want to sell lake house properties, you go where people buy lake house properties. Meaning
Right.
you're going to country clubs, you're going golfing. This is where you want to be. You did something different. And you work a lot with the Milwaukee Bucks.
I do.
And that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit how you got that business.
Yeah, people ask about that all the time. They're like, did First Weber give you that? First Weber didn't have it to give, so no. I made a decision when I left the other company. I wanted to increase my average sale price, and I wanted to increase just the number of transactions I was doing sort of at the higher end. And I had made a decision that I was going to start working with very high level clients. And
That's
goal,
everybody's dream, right?
right? That's everybody.
Easier said than done.
Right. Well, you know what? It's easier done than people think. You just have to have a plan, right? So with the Milwaukee Bucks, people ask me about them all the time. Listen, they're people just like us, right? Everybody needs a place to live. But I knew, like all of us, that there were rumors that the organization was being sold. And I thought, okay, well, you're going to have new owners. It's going to be a new day. And, the goal is for them to win a championship. And so I'm going to help them. I'm going to help the Milwaukee Bucks win a championship. Well, how are you going to do that, Shar? You don't play basketball. So I made this decision. You heard it here first. I decided that I was going to reach out to John Hammond, who at the time was the general manager of the Milwaukee Bucks. And sort of wherever he was, I was going to go and I was going to get in front of him. And I was going to tell him, Mr. Hammond, I know that the goal is for the Milwaukee Bucks to, be sort of a new team, a new organization under new leadership, and you want to win a championship. And,
Right.
But you can't do that if people don't want to make Milwaukee home. And I'm the agent who's going to help you make Milwaukee home. This was my plan. This was my spiel. So wherever John Hammond was, I was going to try to show up and get in front of him. And lo and behold, there was an event that was planned by, a friend who invited me to this event. And it was a small event. And I thought, this is going to be my opportunity. And I had already worked with a few people within the organization, just friends who
Mm-hmm.
needed a place to live, and they were kind of dropping my name too. And so at this event, it was an event held by Thrivent, and I'll drop his name. Paul Newberger invited me to this event. And
Wow.
so I went to the
Opening
event,
doors.
exactly, right? It's about making relationships and, and being good to people. And Paul was good to me. And so he invited me to this event, and here was John Hammond talking about the future of the Milwaukee Bucks, and then he was leaving early, and I thought, well, this is my chance, and so I'm going to cut him off at the pass. So
Elevator speech.
right, exactly, and so I run to the door where he is, and I go right up to him and I say, "Hi, Mr. Hammond, And he reaches out his hand and he says, Shar Borg. He's like, everybody keeps dropping your name to me, and I hear that you're the one to help us make Milwaukee home for our new players. And he gave me his card. He said, give me a call tomorrow, and you're going to be our girl.
Wow.
And so that's how it's been. Now, look, so you get your foot in the door, right? And then you do a good job for people, right? It's not enough just to have a spiel. Then you have to produce, right?
As we say, commit and then over deliver.
Exactly. And so, I mean, I just really went above and beyond. I mean, if they needed me, I don't care if it was a rental, which I was never going to get paid on. My goal was really to help Milwaukee to be home for the Milwaukee Bucks.
What a spiel. I mean, that I'm sold just hearing that. Milwaukee to be home.
Exactly. I mean, just make Milwaukee home. I mean, you can't, what do they say? Happy people are productive people. If you're not happy in your home, you're not going to be productive, and we need them to produce, right?
That's correct.
And hey, I like to think that their trajectory has improved ever since they brought me a part of the organization. So
that's awesome. That's an awesome story.
Yeah.
And I love how you just committed to the niche and ultimately made it happen. You had your goal here. You did whatever it took to get to that goal, even though it may have brought you out of some uncomfortable, or maybe made you uncomfortable to talk to people that are like on the spectrum way up there, But I think it's great.
This is my thinking, though. This is what you have to know. And people ask me about the Milwaukee Bucks a lot of times, but they don't ask me about my first-time home buyer who's buying a house in Sherman Park or who's buying a house in Harambe for $100,000. And this is what I tell people. Listen, if somebody were going to hand you $100,000 and tell you to invest it wisely, you would want to find the absolute best person you could. And so for me, that $100,000 buyer is just as important as the $1 million buyer. So while people will often think that my niche is this very high-end Lake Country or Lake Drive, really, if you can live in it, I will help you to buy it.
That's perfect.
So,
and you have a team, right?
And I have a team. There are 7 of us on my team now.
So when you hire Shar, you don't just get Shar. You get the entire team, which is a niche in itself because you can't do it yourself.
Nobody can do this alone. I mean, there are some agents who are really rock stars and they don't have a team. Great for them.
Sure.
But I have a wide range of clients that I work with, and I need to make sure that they're taken care of at all times. But I also need to have a little work-life balance. I have 4 kids, a husband and a mother.
That good point. You have 4 kids. What are their names?
So my oldest is Elijah. He's 21. I have a 19-year-old Lizzie. I've got 16-year-old Micah, and then I've got 12-year-old Josh.
Josh, and your husband? How long have you been married?
We've been married for 25 years.
Oh,
I know. 22 of the happiest years of my life.
Really? Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. That was on my list. I got to talk a little bit about your family. And I also see you're not a stranger to the news world.
I'm not, no.
You used to work for WISN 12 News?
Correct. That's what brought us to Milwaukee, actually. My husband's from Chicago area.
Wow.
I'm from Maryland, and then we met in Boston, and I landed my first job in TV here at WISN.
Really? How long did you work there? And what did you do, too?
Yeah. So I was on air. I was an on-air reporter. So I did breaking news and investigations and politics and all those wonderful things. I got to travel the world and interview heads of state and, be awarded really great awards. And my contract was for 3 years. And I thought, okay, after 3 years, then we'll go to the next market. That's how it works in TV. We'll go to Chicago or we'll go back to Boston or New York. And then, I fell in love with Milwaukee. Milwaukee's kind of a black hole. It'll suck you in. And so here I am 25 years later.
It's like a mini Chicago.
It's, you know what? It's better than Chicago because it's very manageable. It's very affordable. You still have all of the, fantastic arts here. I mean, we've got our own symphony. We've got all the different theaters. You get Broadway caliber theater. You get, everything that you're going to get in Chicago, except it's manageable.
Right.
So, yeah,
Right.
it's really the best of all worlds.
So let me get this straight. You worked for 3 years WISN and you're like, I'm done with news. I'm going to do something else because I love Milwaukee.
So here's the deal. So we started our family. We got pregnant with our first, Elijah.
Okay.
And I thought, I had done it all. I really had traveled, to the Middle East. I had literally interviewed presidents and governors. And I had done everything that you could want to do in TV. And I thought, okay, it's time, for something else. I
Sure.
wanted to be a mom. So I actually decided to be a stay-at-home mom.
Wow. That
Yeah.
takes a lot of... It's scary, I guess, right?
It was hard. It was not easy, especially like whenever there's big news and there's breaking news. I still miss it sometimes. But, I reach out to my friends who are still in TV. I have a lot of friends who are still in TV, and they're like, no, you definitely made the right choice. So, and it's true.
So do you watch reporters and go, I could have done that better?
No, I don't. I don't because I know who I am. I know how great I was, and so does everybody else. So
Good.
it's and I celebrate them, and then I feel sorry for them on Christmas Day when they're out covering the blizzard.
You don't
and
think about that.
Yeah, no, I think about that because I was in it. When you're home with your family cooking dinner and you're watching the 5, 6, and 10 o'clock news, that's somebody out working, and I applaud them. They're really, really hard workers. They don't get nearly enough credit for what they do. But
Or up
for
at
me,
4 a.m.
exactly. Up at 4 a.m. I would do the morning show, and it was exhausting. So
I don't even think of that.
it's real. It's a very real thing. So, it's so funny because people get into real estate because they say it's so flexible. And then what they realize is that they have to be flexible for everybody else's schedule. But for me, I mean, I came from news. I was always, always going. So for me, the real estate game is, it's pretty easy in comparison.
Cool. That is... I love getting to know you. I love getting to know you.
Thank you.
Now, I see here, tell me if I'm wrong here, but I have a little note here that says you do rehabs, or you have?
I have. I've done rehabs. As a matter of fact, my kids are doing a rehab right now.
Are they?
So, yeah, because, with COVID, my college-age kids are not at school right now. And so we're like, well, let's learn the family business. Put them to work. So, yeah, so they're rehabbing a house in our neighborhood, and they're doing a really, really great job. They're learning that you can't get what you want all the time. So...
It's awesome that maybe they'll be part of your team one day.
They swear that they never will be. They swear that they never will be.
I guess that's good and bad. My son doesn't want to get in home inspection either, so.
Yeah, it's a grind. They see us out here working so hard. I mean, you were talking about the Milwaukee Bucks and sort of like the glamour of working with really high-level people. But the reality is it's really hard work and it's serious business. Like when you come to do my home inspections, you're not thinking about the fact that, oh, this is, Coach Bud's house or, oh, this is Giannis's house. You're thinking, I don't want to miss anything.
Right.
I don't want to, I'm not going to be the one.
Dot every I, cross every T.
Exactly. And again, that's at any house, right? Even the $100,000 house. $100,000 is a lot of money. It's not a little bit of money. If somebody handed you $100,000, you want to make sure that you're going to be really wise with it, right? So when I'm working with my clients, I'm thinking, okay, I need to do the absolute best job for them that I possibly can. But it's a grind and it's hard work. And I think my kids see it and they're like, I don't want any part of that.
I know.
So,
and to add on to that, the $100,000 house, if something goes wrong, it impacts the client that much more.
Absolutely right. You are absolutely right because, the percentage of their income, is a lot
they're
greater.
investing everything they have.
Everything they have. And so it's so important to really take care of our buyers from $5,000 up to $5 million.
They're all the same.
They're all the same. All the same.
Good point. What do you think is your most proudest accomplishment? I know that's kind of putting you on a spot, and I know that this isn't technically an interview,
right?
But something particular that or I should say maybe your why. Why do you get up?
Yeah.
Is it your family? Is it the clients? Do you love your job as much as you love everything else? As it seems like you do.
I'm going to tell you something. A long time ago, 15 years ago, when I got into the business, there was an agent named Mary Stanky. She worked at Shore West Realtors, and just a class act. And I don't know if Mary is still in real estate or not, but she's a legend. And when I first got into real estate, she said something that has resonated with me the entirety of my career. And it is what I sort of built my business on. She said, Shar, remember, it's the mission, not the commission. It's the mission, not the commission. So what is the mission? What does my client need? What is important to them? What is their goal? That's my mission. The commissions will follow, but the goal is never the commission. It's always whatever the mission is for my client. And so that's my why. People call me and they have different needs, and it's never just about a house. Never, right?
You're right.
Right? Somebody's getting married, or maybe somebody has lost a spouse, or maybe somebody's having a baby, or maybe there's a job transfer, or maybe somebody's lost a job. I mean, it's almost never just wake up one day and I'm going to get a house. It's never about that. And they invite you to be a part of that journey with them. It's the mission.
Yeah.
So
I can see that where you're changing your life. Something's changed with it, and to allow you to help them in that process is a kind of an honor.
It's a privilege. Yeah. It is an absolute privilege, because let's be real, there are thousands of agents that people could choose from, and that they pick up the phone and they choose me. I feel just beyond honored and blessed and so privileged. And so then I try to really help them to accomplish the goal that they want to accomplish.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You're a true professional.
I try.
And that's what this is all about. Interviewing and talking. It's not so much an interview. It's more or less talking and just getting to know great people in this industry. I think that's awesome. Why First Weber?
Yeah. Like I said, I was with another company before, and, the truth of the matter is, I don't know that it really matters what company you're with. I think that people choose the agent that they want to work with. I can tell you, for me, I chose First Weber because I love the leadership. I really do. I think they're fantastic people. They're people that I want to work with. And their business is caring about my business. And so they really will move heaven and earth to make sure that I can do what I need to do for my clients. And I love that. And then the other thing is, hey, Warren Buffett bought First Weber out. I mean, if Warren Buffett wants to do business with First Weber, so should I, right?
That's a good idea.
So
Yeah.
That's why First Weber for me.
Very, very cool. How can people reach you?
They can always, call me on my cell phone. My cell phone is out there, 414-243-9836. They can hit me on my website. They can hit me on Facebook, any kind of social media, LinkedIn, all the places.
You're out there.
I'm out there. I am easy to find. If I wanted to hide, I couldn't. So
that's why she didn't want her phone in here, because the phone would have been distracting her from this little process.
It's ringing 24/7, 365. So
that's great. LaShar, thank you for being here. I think it's a privilege to sit down and talk with someone as great as you. And like I said before, I've actually learned from you, and I don't know what else to say other than you're a true professional.
Well, I thank you so much for having me. This was just a lot of fun. I rely on you and your team, for every, just about every transaction. It's wonderful to have people that that you can trust, backing you up and backing up your clients.
I agree.
So,
ladies and gentlemen, Shar Borg from First Weber. Thanks again for being here, and we'll get this out. And I like the fact that people can really truly understand Shar.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yep, my pleasure.